Hello, hello. Trying this third time lucky on this puzzle. Because twice now well, the first time I was about 15 minutes in and I ignored the fact that these added to the sum. And then the second time it was about 5 minutes in and I realised I'd done the exact same thing. So hopefully this time I might remember to read all the rules. So we've got standard balance with everything. If it's horizontal, then all the torques add up properly, and then if it leans over, then the torques are heavier on one side. Then some of these fulcrums occlude with sums and look and say. So they're all different digits, these A, B, C, and D. Question mark can be whatever. So they show the sum of, let's try this properly, of all of those lines, plus the number of times that C shows up on this line. So C shows up B number of times, but with a slight twist that anything in a square counts as double. And here's something here's something I didn't think about at all. I wanted to say this has to be 20 plus A as a total sum. Of course, that cell can be A, can't it? And then you've just got to sum to 14 plus A. But that doesn't work, of course, because these would be a minimum 1, 2, 3, which is then 12 all doubled. So this definitely does sum to 20A something. And other things to look at are, so our B can be, you can get most 3 C's on all of this. And same with A, you can get at most 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 B's on this guy. Oops. There we go. So, what does all that actually imply? Oh, and D, of course, that's also from 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't really know anything about C yet. Yeah. So I think I want to think about A. Because you know that these cells here, let's say this one was A, then these other 3 cells would sum to 20 minus A. So 20 minus A. So if you think about like a single one of these, that's at least, at most 7. It's not that interesting, is it? Because 7 puts 14, and then these would be a 1, 2, 3. Don't forget things being heavier as well, of course. This, and because these are all, oh no, they don't matter about doubling or anything, do they? Yeah, so wait, this is interesting, isn't it? So you know that this is heavier than both of those put together. So if that was A, then A is relatively big, which implies the existence of lots of B's, but it's not necessarily true. And if this was, say this was like 5 and 1, if that was 5, that would have to be 5, 1, 7, which is already 26, which is way too much. Yeah. That can't be 5. If that was 4, if that had a 4 on it, 4, 1, 6 is 22, 24. Yeah, and then that actually does work, doesn't it? And then these would go over here. Interesting. And what if you tried to make this really small? If this side was 4, that would have to be 4, 1, 2, which is at most 14. That's fine, because that could be like a 7, and A would be 1. Interesting. A A can't be that small. Oh yeah, and of course you already know that all of these cells sum to 20 something. So A is going to be hella big, isn't it? Surely. That sums to 20. This is, yeah. So if that sums to 22, say, that's adding another 13 at least. So that A is definitely not 2 either. A is creeping up a bit. If A is 3, it puts 3s here, which could be interesting. And A... So if A was 3, this would sum to 23. And I know this sums to 30-something. 23... I said that had a minimum of 13, didn't I? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But something that's interesting is that is how B's are counted and all of that. And you know that, so if A was 3, right? Especially because B has to be either 1 or 2 at that point. So if A was 3, then you know this sums to 23. And this sums to 31 or 32. Yeah, that doesn't work, does it? So A's are now at least 4. So we are definitely creeping up. If this guy... I'm going to get rid of those colours for now. If this guy was A... Or if A is 5, it goes here. Which at least puts a 1 there. Yeah, now we've reduced A so much. Oh, and don't forget that this weighs more than that. That's also interesting in terms of the whole sum. But now the whole sum's getting quite big, that's less of a problem, I would say. Probably. I did have a very brief look in the first 50 minutes that I tried this of thinking of how you've got 2 lots of that, 4 lots of that, 1 lots of that, and 3 lots of that. Trying to think about parity and modularity and stuff. Which, not a power parity, it's just a weak modularity in that. But I don't think you can actually say anything about that yet anyway. So yeah, so if A is 5, I know this is a 5, and these sum to 15. Which, how does that work? Yeah. Oh, I might have a digit. If A is 5, these sum to 15. Oh, I forget they get doubled. I was thinking that's way too small. Did I miss the fact that they were getting doubled when I was doing the other maths? I think I did. Oh, no. We're going to have to be take 4. What was I thinking about? No, 3, 1, 2, 6, 12. Yeah, why did I... No. 3, 1, 2 isn't why did it? 4. Yeah. All I was saying is this can't be like a 5, 1. Because 5, 1 needed 7, which is already 24. And then that was too big. I think I was paying attention to the doubling. Quite a lot of rules to keep in your head, isn't there? But anyway, so if A was 5, then that could be a 1-2 pair with a 9. It could be a 1-3 pair with a 7. Or if A is 4, and let's say this was 4, these were sum to 16, that wouldn't work. So if this is 4, right, that just breaks because that has to be a 4, 1, 2, and that could only ever be A. Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it? Because 4, 1, 2 isn't enough to get you there. So if A is 4, 4 is on this side, and therefore this would be... Wait, hang on. A5. Oh, no, I was hoping to get rid of a 3 from here, but that's not quite true. So if A is 4, you could be 4. I'll get rid of that for now. You could be 4. Kind of want to think about big numbers first. 4, 2, 7 is already... Yeah, that doesn't work because that would need another 2. So you'd have to go for 1, which you always need a 1 over here. That's interesting, because if that was 5, that needed a 1. If that's 4, 1, that needs a 1 over there. So you could be 4, 1, 6, 7, 14, needs a 2. And 4, 1, 7 is 8, 16, that breaks. So if this sells 7, this would have to be 4 and 1, which has a total of 12, which doubled is 24, which breaks. So that's never 7. So this is either a 5 with a 1, 2, and a 9, a 1, 3, and a 7, or it's a 6, in which case this is a 4, 1, 11, 24, and then a 2 in the middle. Interesting. Very interesting. And B being 1, 2, and 3 has a chance of being on here, but doesn't necessarily have to be at all. If B is 3, by the way, then both of those have to be C. I don't necessarily know that B is C. B is 3. That B is 3. Right. Well, that's narrowed that down a little bit, hasn't it? At least. And A... Yeah, so if A is 5, right, you get B's doing something. Yeah, B's would have to jump over here. If A was 5. Which works fine with it being 1, 2, and 3. And if A is... Yeah, if A is 4... Oh, no, you can be like here, couldn't you? I was thinking if A was 4, if you still had to be in these. But not necessarily, I don't think. Don't forget as well, right, about these weights and this being heavier. So how could I... Yeah, let's try and disprove A being 4. If A is 4, this is 4, 1, 6, 2, I'm pretty sure. 11, yeah, 4, 1, 6, 2. So the problem with that, I want to say, is this has sum to at least 12. One, 6. That sums to at least 12, which is 24. So you're already at 48. Yeah, because this sums 24, that sums 12, but then you're doubling it. Right. So A is 5. And we have our first digit. Excellent. Good. Right, and then the other thing, being A is 5, is it puts B's here, here, and here. And here. That's less interesting. Oh, B, I've forgotten which one this... Whoa, hello. Do that. 1... Oh, those ones weren't properly pencil marked, but that's fine. No, they were, weren't they? Yeah, they were. So, these sum to 15, don't they? So, it's that situation, yeah. Cool. And then B being 1, 2, 3 works for that. So if I ignored all of my B's, which I don't really want to do because of, I know that sums to 20, oh, hello. That sums to 25. That's a very useful thing to do, to know. But I could ignore a couple of these B's and say the rest sums to 40 minus, because this whole thing is 50 add B. If I've taken away 3 B's, I'm taking away 40 minus 2B. And take away 25 as well. So that becomes, whoa, that becomes 15. So I know that blue, and blue could be whatever. Oh yeah, so I need to be careful that blue doesn't actually interact. I can't like say that they're all different, because that could be green and that could be blue. I know that blue left over has to sum to 15. Hopefully. My 15 minus 2B. Yeah, 50 minus, so that's getting really small. Because that's at most 13. This is a, oh, that's at least a 2. That's at least another 1, 2. So if B, and that's what it equals, not what that has to be, because not what it's less than. So it could be. So I was thinking about, well, yeah, no. If B is 3, right? Those would have to sum to exactly 9. 2, 4, 7. There's some degrees of freedom. Oh, don't forget, of course, this is heavier than that. Yeah. That's something I need to be remembering. So, especially because you got a B on both of them. So I know this other number has to be at least a 7. Because the B's cancel. And then you've got at least 6 left over. So that's now whacked this up. And it's broken my scale. Okay, that 5 is at least correct. Have I just added that up incorrectly? Why did I call that 40? That should... No, because that was... I've taken away my B's. 45. No, wait, hang on. No, that should have been 50. Shouldn't it? Yeah. So this should be 25. That was silly. That was close. Right. Because that whole thing is 50, and then I've taken away... That's 50 add B. I've taken away 25. That becomes 25. And then I've taken away wherever my 3 B's are. Yes. Okay. Happier. Good. Right. Well, I'm pleased I didn't start doing logic on the 15 thing. So... And yeah, it's interesting. So if B is... No, because if B is big, then whatever a digit isn't B here can actually shrink a lot. Which is interesting. So... What am I looking at? Go on, get your brain back into it. So this thing's getting doubled, isn't it? And if it was a 9 getting doubled, that's already 18 of your 25 minus 2B. But the trouble is, I mean, they sum to at least 5, these 3 blues. But... does that actually imply... Because 18 and 5 gives you plenty of freedom. Except it doesn't, right? Because... Yeah. Because I'm not sure if it is actually useful taking out all these B's. Because I know B is small. So doesn't it put more pressure on it not thinking about B as small? That made any sense. That was good, but I'm not sure if it did. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that well, I know this sums to at least 1, 2, 5. Sums to at least 9, doesn't it? So that's already 18. Yeah, let's try and do the sum this way instead. That's already 18. 8. Sorry. 18 add 25 is and so 3. Fun. There we go, 43. So that's at least 43. At least 45. At least 51. So if B is 1, then everything gets locked down very precisely. That would have to be a 5, 1, 2. This would have to be so this would have to be a 5, 1, 2. That would have to be, this is if B is 1. If B is 1, this is 5, 1, 2. That's 1. Yes, that breaks. Cool. So if B is 1, I said this has to be its minimum, so that's summing to 9. That's 18. Add that 25. Add 2. Add 1, 2, 3 makes 51. But the problem with that is you've got a 2 here, but you've got a 1, 2 there. That's where that degree of freedom goes. Now let's think about B being 2. So that is the situation where you get this 5, 1, 2. And I think that's going to not... No, that is going to work, but only just, I think. So in the case that B is 2, you need to get a 5, 1, 2 with a 9. This would have to be 2, 7, I'm pretty sure. Again, I think you're at your limit with 43. Because that would be 1, 2, 3, and that would be a 3 for another 9, which is 52. So B being 2, yeah, makes this a 3. So you get 3s there, locked in there, because if B is 3, 3 goes there. So if B is 2, you get a 3, 3 with a 1, 2. 3, 3 with a 1, 2. You'd get a 2 and a 7 here, a 9 there. And that all just about seems to work. So hopefully, I'm just going to get rid of those 3s for now, because they're not that useful yet. Excuse me. And I'd rather... I think it's easier to see. So if B is 3, then this is at least 9. That sums to at least 10. So that pushes this up to a 20. Makes this 45. Nice. At least 9, at least 10. So as a minimum, those would sum 45. You've now got 8 left to play with, which works with 1, 2, 3, and 2. That is wild that all gets stuck, but very precisely. So if B is 3, this had to sum to 10. If B was 2, that had to sum to 9. Everything was very exact, wasn't it? So weirdly, when that's 7, that's the case that B is 3, so that can't be a 3. In the case that B is 3, it has to go 3, 2, which I can then... 3, 7, sorry, which I can then relate to here and say that can't be 3. B's would look like that, wouldn't they? Lovely. Well, that's a fair bit. That's not B. Look at this. This is not a B because those two cells are the same, and that's not B. So B's here, and then B rocks up there. But no matter what B is, your degrees of freedom are just gone either way. Which I think I maybe could have done with the stuff that I was doing, taking things away. But I got there in the end, so that's good. Hopefully that maths checks out. I'm reasonably confident that that all works okay. Good. Right. B is unfortunately still 2 and 3. So I was hoping that would then actually force both of those to be C. Which has, well, you know, it's not a 5, but other than that, you don't really know anything, do you? Worth pencil marking those as B's? Probably not. Is it worth notating what fulcrum stuff is going on now down here? Possibly. Because you know the exact, well, not the exact force, but you basically know the force that this is pushing on that fulcrum. Yeah, it doesn't really say anything, I don't think. Some ones there. Ones and B's. So yeah, another 1, 2, yeah, another 1, 2, 3 triple, but 5s over here if that's doing anything. Probably not. Right, let's have a look at D, because I think that B, D might end up being a 2-3 pair. Or yeah, let's just chuck notepad notes. Yeah. Bring them down here. Drop them a bit. So currently on the left, you've got 2 lots of so in the case where B is 2, you've got 2 lots of 17. Or and hang on a minute, that's all. So in the case where B is 2, this is 8, that's 9, that's 17. Yeah, and then so you've got 34 currently, that one. Or where B is 3, you get 10, 9, 19, way up to 38. That makes sense. Because B is on both of those, so that will go up by 2, but because it's out 2. So I'll put that as the left 2. That's the amount of force that's coming out of this guy. Which I'm not particularly convinced is all that useful, but we shall see. So D, because if D question mark was 1, then this has got a minimum sum of 7. You can get pretty small, can't you? 1, 2, 4, 14. Yeah, that's less forcing than I thought, actually. Huh. Can that really be a 1, 2, 3 triple? Probably. Really see why not. If B is 2, by the way, and it's either goes there and there, or takes exactly one of those. But I don't think that's that useful. Weirdly, C taking that cell implies that question mark C can't be 30 C. That would either be 17 or 20 C. I was hoping my 2 3s went there, but no, of course not. So, oh, but don't forget that these two weigh more than that, that's not really saying anything, is it? And in terms of if D is massive, say D was a 4, then that could already be 23 on its own. That's another 17, that could already be 40. So that's not exactly, doesn't exactly have a lot of pressure on it, does it? Alrighty. Oh, hang on. If B, just thinking, if B is there, then this would have to be smaller than it. Is that anything interesting? I mean, taking B out of that cell isn't exactly huge. And if B is there, then C has to be quite small. So if B was there, B would be 2, because you can, yeah. So that would just imply 2, then 1. And either C would be 1, or C could repeat like this and like that, as I said. 2, 1 puts the 2B here, 2B there, but that's okay because that implies 7 and 9, doesn't it? 8, 16, yeah. So you got threes up here. That helps. Probably not. And I mean, this either be 20 or 30 something. I don't think that particularly helps either, because what am I trying to say? Because although this has a, yeah, I mean, that's got a minimum of 18 if you really wanted to go there. So if B is 2, hang on a moment. Yeah, should I be doing the same trick of trying to cancel out whatever C is? Let's see what that is. So if B is 3, right? Both of those are C. And the rest of this sums to 30 minus 2C. Depending, and C looks like it could be whatever it wants. So what am I saying? Sorry. So that looks pretty comfortable. If instead B was 2, say B was 2 and C went here, then the rest of these sum to 20 minus C. Which is at least 12, 13. Not much, is it? Really? I'm going to pencil mark that 1 through 8. Don't think so. I mean, you've got a lot of, well, I'd say you got a lot of weight on this side. Just trying to work out if it's worth going into looking at the balancing yet. But I don't think so. Right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Right. Here we go. Here's something. So this is starting to get relatively big. So that's got to weigh at least 9, and these two weigh at least 10. There we go. That looks useful. So they're weighing at least 10. So let's think about B being 2, which now seems quite unlikely. They'd sum to at least 10. This has a minimum of 1, 2, 4. So sum to at least 10, which is 20 doubled. So that just makes, but yeah, no, so that makes C quite big. But C could just hide in one of these, couldn't it? So if B would be exactly 2, yes, and that pushes this up. This would have to be strictly 1, 3, 4. That would be a 1. This would be a 2, and that would be an 8. So, and that's because these have a minimum of 10. That would have, when B is 2, that would have a minimum of 8, and that would have to be a 1. So in that particular case, C would be 8. And it looks like it all just works. Why does it all just work? No, because these are the, yeah, okay. Ooh, thank the Lord. So these two, that's so cool. Right, okay. Right. So these have a minimum of 10. If B is 2, that would only work like this, but then this obviously breaks. Okay. We have another thing, and that is massive because it gives us all of these, which is lovely. Get rid of that, and I can get rid of that and change it to its actual, whoops, its actual number. There we go. And down here as well. Good. Yeah, I should have been looking at that. That was silly. Spent a while not picking it up at all. Right. So 2's over here, but that's not really anything. So B is 3, and now C goes here and here, which is good. We like that. This can't sum to question mark to 30C anymore. Oh, is C going to be 4? That would be nice. I'd certainly take that. So I know this sums to and. Where am I going with this? I know that these sum to 30. How much have I taken away? Minus 2C. Trouble with using letters is I'll then use the letter short keys to change between corner pencil marks and colours and stuff. And my brain gets confused. Oh, C in this box. So you can't be 2, you know. Can't be 3. Oh, I know what that cell is, don't I? Because this sums to, that's 7. That's summing to 18. Yeah. So 7's now down here, which is getting interesting as well. But anyway, all of this stuff sums to 30 minus 2C. So if C was 1, what can't C be? Oh, I was hoping that C not being 5 was interesting, but sadly not. So if C was 1, these would sum to 28. Ah, but you've already got a doubler in there, haven't you? Boo. So them getting big I really don't need to worry about. I am now going to pencil mark both of those because they're starting to get a bit more interesting. What if C was massive? I don't know. C can't be 1. C can't be 1. Of course, C can't be 1. So yeah, so this is now yellow. I should just make pink, really, shouldn't I? Pink is now getting a bit smaller because C is grown. Oh, and of course this, and use your brain. That has to be, because this sums to at least 9. That couldn't be 4. Oh, it can't be 4. Sad. So if that was 6, that would be a 4 or 5. And then that would be a 4, 5, or 6 sort of thing, wouldn't it? So C now does go like that. Which is helping a little, maybe. So what if these were stupid big? Yeah, that doesn't work, does it? If that's 8 and 9, that's 34 already. And then, yeah, that's too much. In fact, so if this is 6, then that would be at least 13, 26, 32. What's the easier way to see that? There is one, I'm sure. 6, 12, add another 1, 2, 4 for the minimum of what this could be. 7, add 12, 19. But I'm taking away at least 14, so that doesn't work, so that can't be 6. And as soon as this gets smaller, it's putting pressure on that, isn't it? Because now this sums at most 13. I can't get away with having a 9. I thought we'd managed to take away one thing, but not quite. Willing to bet. Am I willing to bet that C is 7? Maybe not, actually. Let's have a look at this being 5. So if this is 5, then these sum to, I think this will work. These sum to at least 17. That you're taking away. No, oh, yeah. So there's 1 degree of freedom at that point. You'd have to be 5 and 6. Because 5 and 7 would be too much, wouldn't it? That would be 12, 24, 31. That would have to be 1, 2, 3. That doesn't work. So you'd have to be 5 and 6 for 11, 22, 28. And need 8 in here. Which would have to be 1, 2. Which would have to be 1, 2, 5. And that doesn't work because that's a 5. Okay. So we have now reduced this to 13 and we're allowed to take away a 9. Nice. So, I mean, overall, this isn't actually going to be that big. So, right 1 now has a maximum of 13, add 12, 25. So I was about to be like, well, this is going to have to apply quite a lot of force, but it certainly is getting to. So that could apply 90 force. Not quite, actually. 85, 84. No. Yeah, 87 force, I think. That being a 579. Cool. Be nicer if that 4 was looking helpful. Do they have some sort of relationship? Not really. Let's have a quick look at if that can be a 4, and then let's think about it being a 2 afterwards. Because, yeah, and I mean this, if I really wanted to, I could be like min 12 on that side. Uh, 30 max 87. Bit more than 1 degree of freedom on that side. Things. Minimum 12 gives you a 1, 2, doesn't it? Yeah. So that's times 4. All right. So if this is, let's have a think about if this is 4. If this is 4, let's say C was 6. They would all sum to, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, there's something interesting going on here, actually, isn't there? Can this have an 8? If this has an 8, this would have to be 4 with a pair of 9s. They would sum to 27. You're at 35 already. That's too much. So, sorry, if that sums to 12, that would have to be 4, 9, 27, 35. But this is 39, so that doesn't work. So now this has shrunk a little bit, hasn't it? And, no, because these could be 9 with a 2. Probably. Can they even be 9 with a 2? So that'll be 27, 31. These would have to sum to 8, and that doesn't work. So C can't be 9. That's kind of wild. 27, 31. Yeah. Can C be 8? So you've got 24 there. Meaning you've got another 14 to play with. If that was double 4, that would leave you 6. That doesn't work. If it's double 2, it leaves 10. Does that work with 1, 4, 5? So if 8, then 2, and 1, 4, 5. Eight, 2, 1, 4, 5. I can't see anything wrong with that, and then that would have to be a 4, 5 pair. This now at least has a maximum of 12 at 11, 33 now. Apparently, that maths was rubbish. 23. There we go. So if 8, then 2, then 1, 4, 5, then 3, 7, then 6, 9. Seems okay. If C instead was 7, it almost pushes a 7 into there, which wouldn't be allowed. I mean, it forces 7 not to be there, actually. Pushes a 7 over here, but eh. Sure, that's okay. Hang on a mo. If that's 2, that has to be with 8s. No, that's the one I said was fine. Yeah. So 2 puts 8s. And 8s. 2 puts 8s and 8s put 2s. If and only if. So how about 6s? 6s put 4s. Which implies that those would sum to 18, add 8, 26. That would have to sum to 10. Oh, bet that doesn't work because 1, 2, 7 doesn't work. So I'm trying to make 10 without using any of these, which doesn't work. What? So if these are 6s, then that's 18, 22, 26. That would have to sum to 10. You can't be 7, 1, 2 because of those two. And also 7s. Use what you've pencil marked. Oh, yeah, no, I'm disproving 6s, aren't I? So you couldn't use 9, 8, or 7, or 6, or 4, or 3. Well, that doesn't work. So these aren't 6. So if they're 7s, you're 7 and 4. This is 21, 29. You're then trying to get to 37, which is 8. Which works with 1, 2, 5. Boo! Two, 1, 5 works with 4 and 7. But at least the maximum of this is now 11. Brings us down to 21. Let's go. So you're either 4, 7s, the 1, 5, and the 2. Times 8, 16, add 21, 37. Or you're 2, the pair of 8s, which sums to 28, and needs 10 more, which had to be 1, 4, 5. So you get a 1, 2, 4, 5. Because of course you do. 3, 7, 6, 8, and 9. Interesting. Very interesting. These definitely have a 4 on them. That could be 4, 6 if that's M4 and 8. That's okay. This is slightly reduced now. That's now at most 9865, which is 28, which tripled. It's probably 96. Try it again. 28 tripled is 94. 84. Now these two have a minimum, like the left hand side has a minimum of 46, which, yeah, push means no, because that's got a minimum. That could be 30 if it really wanted to. That's some more progress again. I am a bit disappointed that I didn't manage to work out this fully. It's getting there. I was about to pencil mark 3s down here. No, 1s are up. 1s are down here at least. Which increases the size of this a little bit. If C is 8, right, it jumps around a bit like that. I don't think that's that helpful. Get rid of all of this pencil marking, can't I? Yeah. And rather than writing max, I should write what this can be, which could be as small as 9. That could be 19, 20, or 21. Oh, and don't forget, if this is odd, this has to sum to an odd number. Which may be relevant, may not be. Cool. Oh, and I know what this is now, don't I? 10, 19 doubled is 38. So this is exactly 38. Yeah, so that could be 30 with 20 if it wanted. And the same thing with that. If that is even, this has to be even. Anyway. I find it weird that this is smaller than the sum of those two. Because at the moment I can make this quite small and this is already forced quite big. But maybe that's more to do with the overall sum or the counting things, perhaps. 2's up there aren't the most useful pencil mark. Right. D question mark. What could it mean? So, if D is 1, what's this minimum now? This minimum is 1, the 4 here and a 5 there. So that's at least 15. So this sums to at least 22 now. And even more so, actually, but I don't want to work it out. But D is not 1. So D is either 2 or 4. Annoyingly, D being 2 could mean that question mark goes here and here. If D is... Which one do I want to look at? Is it worth like actually pencil marking what this can be? Not really. Like vaguely, but yeah, not really. Do you see what I mean? Like that's already kind of big compared to this side. But I think my point that I wanted to make was this has a minimum of 8. Because that can't be 1, 2, 3. But 1, 2, 4 seems right. But yeah, if D is... Well, if D is 2, because I'm already saying I'm quite constrained at that point. If D... I said minimum of 8. Yeah. Question mark is at least a 3. Oh. Ha! D couldn't be... Question mark couldn't be 3 at that point because of this 3. It couldn't be 27. Again, because there's 7. So if you're 20 something, you're either 24, 25, 26, 28, and 29. Do I want to have a look at all of those possibilities? If I'm honest, not particularly. I'm just thinking about the maximum of this. That might be worth thinking, adding in, because this has an absolute maximum of 105. 105 minus 38, anyone? 67? I want to say. Here's something not interesting. Well, that's got to be at least 4. So that's actually a minimum of 16. Let's push that up a bit because that's now 54. So that's to have a minimum of 33. Which does actually work because, you know, this is divisible by 3. This number here. Because I'm writing minimax talks on this side. Yeah, so it's not... Where did I get 67 from? That was from adding those 2 and adding those 2. So that shouldn't be 67 because you know it's divisible by 4. So that is actually all the way down to 62. Which divided by 4... No, it's not. Try that again. 64. Which divided by 4 is 16. So this has a maximum of 16. So that can't be an 8. Then that would be 17. I'm sort of surprised that that's brought that down a little anyway. But what I was wondering about, yeah, so that's still basically pretty massive. It can be, because I was wondering if this was small, that causes this problems, but not particularly. Oh yeah, no, hang on. C in here? Where the hell's C in here? One of those cells have to be a C, because C can't go there or there. This, wow, okay. This sums to 10 plus C. So let's say that was C. That wouldn't work because that's more than 10. So now this is hella small. Oh my god, it just works, isn't it? That's... No, I've broken the puzzle. Haven't I? So I'm saying that that's already 8. Oh, what am I on about? You can still get 2 C's. In fact, this cell is precisely C, and you get a C here. You can't have 1 C because that just it's too much, man. And that means C is 8. Okay. Okay. Right. 8, 8, 8, 8. 8's here. 8's there. 8's there. In fact, 8's there. Wild. 8 somewhere here. Cool. Oh, 8's got to go there. What? Crazy. Because this sums to 28. Which I now should be able to limit this a lot, shouldn't I? Because we're at 28. We're all the way down to 12 now. That can sum to at most 5. And you know this is smaller than that. So I'm saying 12. And I'm also saying that if that was 2, doesn't work. So it's got to be a 1. So you can be the 1, 4, and 2, or you can be 1, 3, which doubled is 8, and then you need another 4. 1, 4, and 2, 1, 3, and 4. That makes sense. I'm hoping that did mute my coughing. I'm not sure if it did or not. Sorry. No. Well, that was a flurry of progress, wasn't it? Good. Pause here. And I now know way more about this. This is either applying 16 or 20. Yeah. So left equals 54. 58. That's got to equal right. Oh, which means that this, and if I write them out, I wanted to write them smallest to largest, but I'm not sure if my brain will manage that. 23, 24, 25. Let's try that again. 34, 33, 35. Those two out. Yeah. 37, 38, 39. But it has to be divisible by 4. No, by 3. So this is either 33, which pairs only with Not with 19, but with 21. That pairs only with 19. Isn't it? Those two sum to 58. Two. Yeah. Well, and this is 6, so 33 doesn't work because that would have to sum to 11. So row R3 is 39, and R1, whoops, R1 is 19, which implies left equals right equals 58. This is 20. This is 4. I hope. Hopefully. That seems to be the only way that works. And this sums to 13, which only works like this. Oh, I've sorted all this now, haven't I? That had to pair with a 2. Yeah. Mental. 514, which is why that 4 is useful. Presumably sorts out this. I'm pleased I didn't spend too long over in this end, because that was definitely going to be a bit of a rabbit hole, not really doing anything. There's a 6. Just getting a bit confused by my pencil marks. Let's get rid of those. Right. Weird puzzle. That has got flow. It's nice. 2 and 4. Good use of the 4. It's about to put 8s there. Let's try not and do that. Lovely. Excellent. That's got to be 5 now because this sums to 10. And that all works with the 19, thank God. 5, 5. Way too many religious experiences solving Sudoku. Nah, not that interesting, I don't think. Alrighty. Well, that suddenly did a lot, didn't it? 5, 6, 7, 9. Excellent. So now my big boy is balanced. Don't care about him anymore. And everything else, it's only this that I need to be a bit wary of. But, I mean, if that's a 9 and that's a 5, then this has to be relatively big, but I'm sure it can be. Yeah. We shall see. I mean, if neither of those are a 5, that sums to at most 7, then that would be 5 or 6, but it probably is going to be what's actually useful, because I can't really see anything else to do. 3, 6, 7, and 9. That cell. It's a lot of 1, 2, 4s, and 8s, isn't it? The 3s not really doing anything. Not yet, anyway. Alright, let's have a look at D question mark. Especially because I know this is now getting big. D surely can't be 2 now. This has an absolute minimum of 18. And that's just massive. D is 4. Which implies that this cell repeats in one of those two. And that is question mark. So that can't be 6 or 7. That's 5 or 9. Sorry. Very random thought. I just scrolled my scroll wheel and thought it would be quite good to have scroll wheel like bound to change between modes potentially. So I mean, if it's, I was just thinking if pink goes there and pink is question mark, then that's a 9, but sure. So we are 40 minus 3 lots of pink is whatever the rest of the sum is. So, I mean, if those were 5s, then you'd be at 25. So if pink is 5, both of those would be 25. Sorry, the rest of it would sum to 25, which, because this has an absolute maximum 22, that's more than I thought. But I mean, that can't be 9, can it? Because 18, 24, yeah. But that does annoyingly look like it works with a 1 or 2. So this can't be 9 ever, is what I'm getting at. And the... Yeah, so if that is... No, hang on a moment. Yeah, no, because I haven't thought about these two being pink. Let's do that. Because that's just a one option you have to think about, isn't it? So if these two were both pink, they'd both be 9s. And that would imply that the green cells would sum to 40 minus 27, which is 13. That ain't happening anytime soon, is it? So this is pink. That's not a 9. Can these be 9s? Again, 27. 13. No, that doesn't work. So these are both 5s. Which thing? Oh, I was worried there wasn't a space for a 5 there. That's okay. Let's get rid of that for now. Yeah, I'll get rid of that for now. So I know these sum to 25. Do I? Yeah. 25. That's even. So this has got to sum to an odd number. So it's definitely going to want a 6 in it. So you've got 12 here. I need another 13, which you can't get with 7. That has to be a 6-9 pair, which is now 15. 21 with a 2. Yep. Excellent. Good. Sudoku? My Sudoku puzzle. Can't believe it. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 2, 4, 6, 9 pair. Oh. Again, apologies for coughing if that did come through. 2s are up here now, so that puts 2 there. Oh, hang on. 4, 8, 9, 6, 9, 6. 2 or 4 there. That's been 8 for ages, has it? No, surely not. 1s, not really. 9s, a bit more useful. This is all done. Whoops. 7, 3, 7, 3. 3s. 1, 3, 6, 9, 6, 7, 3. There's 6, 9, and 7. 9 and 7, but 7, 9, 1. 1, 3, and 9? 9. 9, 1, 3, 6, 1, 3. 5, 4, 6, 6, 4, 5. 5's at the top apparently. With 8, 3, and 4. Crazy puzzle. Very interesting. I think it did tell you enough where to look. I mean, I should have gone to that earlier knowing where I'd found C's and how that affected that, but didn't consider it at all for a bit of time. I mean, it was clear to start with all this stuff and then move around into there. And it was interesting that stayed unambiguous for a while. I'm surprised how early that all got balanced. But that actually, it felt like it came in at the right time. You sort of started to narrow down exactly on these other things. And the amount of work that actually did with it not really doing anything at all and then suddenly did something was cool. I did like that. Good use of both puzzles. Yeah. No, very interesting. Tricky, but very fun puzzle. Well, thanks very much for making it. Hope you enjoyed watching. Chat to you all sometime later. Cheers. Bye.